Hello Millwall Tube. This is my post-match analysis of the Sheffield Wednesday game. Well, what can I say? Yesterday, certainly the highlight of my day was being on morphine, because it certainly weren't worth it for that travel for that shit show. Must-win game against Sheffield Wednesday, and even if we had beat them yesterday, it still wouldn't have proved that we were good enough to stay in the Championship. We've got to compete with the teams above us. I just thought, where can I say? There's three players who could probably hold their heads up after that performance, and that's Casper, Leonard and Danny Mack. The rest of them were piss poor, and even at 2-0 down, no sense of urgency. These men, or should I say boys, should take a look at themselves in the mirror and think about what they're being paid to do. I know there's a lot of people out there already giving the manager the grief, but you can't blame him totally. I still think he's got to be given a chance. What do we do otherwise? We're going to have a knee-jerk reaction and put in some bloody manager to sort us out for half a dozen games and then be looking again in January. I think the lad needs a chance. I think the manager needs a chance. I think we'll keep with him until the end of the season anyway. I think the idea was always to build again, start a new season. Come on, you Lions.
Hi, Millwall Tube. Reflections for this afternoon's capitulation yet again against Sheffield Wednesday, who we beat 4-0 4 months ago. This is really actually an open letter to Millwall Football Club, broke down into categories. First, the players. You're clueless. You don't know when to release the right pass. You don't know whether to hold the ball or release it when the player's making the run. And worst of all, and most infuriating, every time the ball comes to somebody in the air, you won't play it to another player, you'll just play it straight back to where it came from. And I'm getting fucking sick of it. What else am I getting fucking sick of it? I should apologise for the language in this, because it's really getting to me now. Right. The defence. You're all too old. That's not your fault. It happens to all of us. But nobody's replaced you. And that is why Gary Rowett legged it last year. He saw this whole bag of manure, shall we say, hitting the wall and got out before it did so. And he's left it in Joe Edwards' hands. So, who could we pick out as, I was going to say, men of the match? Yeah, right. Well, Ryan Leonard again put a shift in, but he made two mistakes. They cost us dear. And I will say that Tanganga played the 90 and he was good. Well played, mate. You at least come out of it with a crumb of comfort. Although in the back four, which seemed absolutely clueless on how to stop that cross-come shot, which Murray Wallace should have absolutely been all over that attacker, yet he played through him somehow and we were one down. And the heads dropped. And it should be a fun thing going to watch a football match. I don't care if we lose. We've been in Division 3 before, or League 1 as it's now called, and I've watched us more seasons than I can remember there. It's the way we're going about the defeats, which you have to then question, is it the management's fault? If it's the management's fault, then Joe Edwards has got to be called into account, hasn't he? For asking you to do things that you can't do, and doing them every game. But the thing which does my head in completely, it does it in so much, is how after every burst of initial enthusiasm, as soon as the opposition score, your heads drop. Now that to me says lack of motivation. And that is right down to you, Joe Edwards. I'm beginning to think, honestly, that you're completely out of your depth. And if you are out of your depth, I'm genuinely sorry for you. And where does that come from? That comes from the club management as a whole. Now, nobody loves the Berylsons more than me. We're all in love with the Berylson family. And I'm absolutely gutted, as I'm sure everyone else is, for what happened last year. It's been a year of turmoil. But the long shot is you appointed the wrong man. He can only do what he can do. And it clearly isn't working, because we're now 1 point ahead of Queen's Park Rangers and we are right down in the shades of brown stuff. And can you honestly see us going to Southampton next week and getting anything other than tanked? So it's on the management of the clubs as much as anything else. Gary Rowett had nothing but loan players papering over cracks, and they left. He got more in. There was no long-term plan put in place, and we are lagging behind everyone else now, and now it really is beginning to show. It's not fun anymore. No, I'm not going to stop going, but do I really want to come in each Saturday night like this? No, I can do not. Oh yeah, and if the EFL are watching, that bunch of clowns masquerading as officials were fucking wankers. Come on, you Lions.